Good day, everybody. We're here to talk a little bit about stage fright. Now, I know this is a topic that a lot of us have been hedging around. I myself experience it. I have always experienced it, and I have come up with ways to make the experience more livable and ways to focus on the performance. See, that's what it's all about, isn't it? We want to focus on our performance. We, as artists, as musicians, as friends, as jammers, as folks that want to strum and sing, we just want to focus on the fun because we work very, very, very hard, don't we, to get there to the place of fun. So this is this is the introduction to our series on conquering stage fright. Each and every one of us have had this conversation at some point. The vast majority of folks in our program have talked about bringing their dreams to life, and the main aspect that seems to always grow some momentum, seems to grow some teeth and hair on the way, is the aspect or element of stage fright or performance anxiety. When we stepped into this program, we did so focused on some type of a tangible outcome, making sure that we're going to have a performance, we're going to play at the campfire, we're going to jam with some friends, we might even go to an open mic, and all these thoughts, start to creep in. And I'm so happy and I'm proud of everybody in here because you're not letting that take over. I can't tell you how many individuals I spoke to when enrolling clients into this program who absolutely stopped the conversation and said, I'm not going to have a goal because the goal is going to be no different than it is now, which is sit at home and play to the wall. I don't want to play in front of anyone. And truth be told, when we really dug in, they very much wanted to play for others because the instrument, the guitar, makes noise. Musical instruments make noise. So the vast majority of us want to share that aspect of our lives with people we love and care about, and maybe even some strangers. There's no strangers, just friends you haven't met yet. At gigs, it's a great time and place to meet people. So we're going to step through the first few slides here, and please comment or even privately write to me any questions you might have about this. So our first slide here is the science of stage fright. So let's talk a little bit about why this happens. I have a lot of personal knowledge about this, having dealt with it my whole life, and always feeling like I have to be someone else. And it took years to get to the point where I could be the same person here with you now that I am while talking to my son or my wife or teaching a lesson. It's not easy to do, but it can be done. And if I could do it, the most awkward, sweaty palmed person on the face of the earth when it comes to speaking to groups, anybody can do it. So why our minds and our hands get nervous? Let's explore that a little bit. Okay, so moving on. Can we just take a moment and understand stage fright? Stage fright is a natural response to performing in front of a group, and it can be managed. It can be managed. Oh, and there's so many techniques to manage it. If one technique doesn't work, another one may. I'm guessing all of us have been in the workforce at some point. We all have had to give a lecture in class. We have all had to write an essay as a child, and we've all had to give a presentation for English class. There's just so very much and so very many reasons why we might be feeling some stage fright in front of other people. So we're just going to consider this overall performance anxiety. And there are genetic and biological reasons why we experience this. And it doesn't make you bad, it doesn't make you different, it doesn't make you not meant to perform. If you feel this, it simply means you're human. Newsflash. Newsflash, you're human. As far as I know, humans are the only folks playing guitars these days. And so it is human to feel anxiety about playing an instrument. It is human to feel anxiety about speaking in front of a group. And some people even have crippling anxiety where they don't want to speak to anyone in public, and they don't want to take public transportation. Whether your anxiety is extremely, extremely minimal or extremely severe, I guarantee you we all experience anxiety at some point. And especially, and there are reasons we'll get into later, why do we feel extra anxiety, extra, super plus anxiety about music, about the guitar? So I know the answer to that. Why do we feel extra super anxiety about the guitar rather than just leading a committee meeting? So let's look at the causes of stage fright. There's so many factors that contribute to stage fright. Of course, they can have to do with genetics. They can have to do with being brought up in a household where maybe you couldn't really speak your voice without getting criticized, growing up in a family dynamic, potentially, where anytime you did talked about or showed about the things that you liked as you developed and grew into adulthood, they were put down or smashed or, squelched by others. There's a lot to this. And I think as you see, this work we're doing together has your fingerprint on it. You need approval from no one. You seek validation from no one else. And especially, you should not be comparing yourself to others. You should not be comparing yourself to others. These are some of the primary reasons for stage fright. They go all the way back in history to our family dynamics, to our upbringing, to some things that we've experienced for our views, our perceptions in life, some persecutions that we've gone through where we've really put our hearts out there, we've worn our hearts on our sleeves, and we've been obliterated for it. And, anger is a great shield, but over time the anger wears off, and it's your decision whether you say, I'm never putting myself out there again, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And so many of these life experiences make stage fright much more difficult than for children, because children don't care. They'll go out and be foolish. I guess I'll ask you, and obviously not all of us have children, but for those of us who are parents, have you ever sort of taken part in the fun with your kids in public? So I probably have embarrassed my spouse a number of times for doing stupid stuff with my son when he was 7 or 8 years old, like trying to put a spoon on our nose, or silly things about, who knows what they were, but probably just a bunch of silliness going on. And having that child with us gives us an excuse to tap our inner child. And so it's sort of seen as okay, right? But we have to put limits on that so that we're not hauled away in a truck in public. So a lot of these things come back to our life experiences and past experiences and upbringing for what might have happened and how did it feel when we put ourselves out there. All right. So my guitar friends, we're really coming down to the core of why we get performance anxiety, to the point where it stops us. So many folks didn't enroll in this program because they said, I'll never be able to do it. I'll never be able to do it. I'll never be able to play at the campfire. No matter if I was Eric Clapton, no matter if I was John Mayer, it's just me, I'll never be able to do it. Let's also look at the pressure of performance. Here's a news flash. Nobody expects you to be Elton John. Nobody expects you to be Metallica. The only person persecuting you is you. No one has any expectation of you whatsoever. So when we talk about the pressure of performance, as you see here, the pressure of performance, I really, really want to drive the point home that nobody cares if you make a mistake. Nobody cares. You care. You care out of some kind of extra inflated sense of fear, but nobody cares. Okay? You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. I made mistakes. I did the video shoot this morning for rhythmic dictation, and I think I had to do example 8 about 15 times. So what? So what? I make a mental note. I say I'm going to do this better next time. I find out where my issue is with that rhythmic dictation, break it down scientifically, polish it up, be done with it, you know? So the pressure of the performance comes from you on yourself and no one else, okay? Tangentially, if you have band members, it's they're not putting pressure on you for performance. I think you're all just hoping that it's like hosting Thanksgiving. You're just hoping it's going to go well. Let's look at the mind-body connection here. The mind-body connection. Stage fright is not just mental. It has physical symptoms, including sweaty palms, rapid heartbeat, and tremors. Oh, hell yeah, it does. Of course it does. Yeah, I've been through this many times. Many times. I will tell you that the excitement of playing, the excitement, the desire to play was greater than the nerves eventually. But starting out, the desire to play in front of others and to share music with others was much less than the anxiety. So I backed out in my teens. I backed out of gigs. I tried to act like my guitar was broken. I even intentionally broke my own guitar string once. I was so nervous. Oh, broke a string. And then, of course, along comes somebody's dad with the string to fix my string. So I know all about it, and there's not enough underarm antiperspirant for me in the world when my nerves get going. But there are ways that we're going to explore to make sure that you know that you can keep those nerves under control and the toolbox on how to do it. So stage fright's not just all in your head. You know, it shows up physically, and once those physical symptoms start, they can be difficult to quell. They really can be hard to reduce. Not impossible. You can do it all up here. I've done it many, many times. And I've made some horrible, horrible blunders. I've made some errors so bad, and I'll share some of them with you, that they're just downright funny, just like a Saturday Night Live skit. And let's look here at the third point down, the power visualization. Wow, this is so important right here. We are going to talk about this. This is what saved me. Yeah, I started doing this much too late in life. I was in my mid-20s before I started the power visualization. It's not just visualizing a successful performance, but there's one simple trick I'll share with you later. One simple trick I did that changed it permanently. Permanently. Okay. And then we're just going to stop there. So for now, that's it. Those are the reasons for stage fright. There's one huge item I didn't speak to, and that is not being prepared. I should not assume that we all know this. The largest reason for stage fright is knowing that you haven't prepared. Now, if you've really prepared and you've done the best you can, and you've worked especially with a mentor, coach, or teacher, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, absolutely fine. Remember, nobody expects perfection except you, most likely. And the best thing you can do is to prepare with a plan, work with another person, and please, please kill the perfectionist in you. All right? This isn't Juilliard. We're not going to give a recital at NYU. We're not giving a recital in Manhattan. This isn't senior recital at the Crane School of Music. That's kind of a different thing. We're not talking about that, and that kind of a situation is not appropriate for our class. So we're talking about fun. We're talking about playing something special for someone we love. We're talking about writing music. We're talking about putting together an EP. We're talking about becoming better improvisers, strummers, and singers. None of any of this should be scary. All of this should be a fun, creative exploration. So stay tuned for part 2, how you can prepare appropriately for the gig. More to come. See you soon.